Hey, everybody, welcome back. Devin, the OG original Grognard, sitting back down in the Grognard's corner. And oh my god, we're actually sitting down and playing an action counter game on the table. It's been weeks since we've done this. Uh, yeah, I knew I was going to get back around here eventually. It just kind of takes me a while to get motivated sometimes, especially when jumping into a new game that I've never played before. Open Fire, Victory Games, 1980 something. It was 1988, 87, something like that. I don't know. I'm sure smart people out there would know. I have never played this. I had plenty of opportunities to pick it up, but I just never did. So this is a fresh playthrough for me. I mean, the mechanics are real similar to Ambush, and we're going to be getting that here on that in a little bit. But I just wanted to point out, that I've never played it. And you know what? There are no videos on the web for gameplay of Open Fire. I could not. I did YouTube searches, and I could even BGG has no videos for gameplay of this. Which is kind of a little bit distressing because as these games get older and older, it's going to be harder for people to find physical copies. And one thing that I find a lot of people use as a resource if they're going to decide if they want to buy a game is YouTube videos. So it is kind of a little bit distressing that no one has ever done this before, but by the same token, hey, I'm a trendsetter. I'm the first person that I know of that is doing a video on Open Fire. And I do want to point out, I know I kind of mentioned this in the past, and I mentioned this sometimes, that I'm not a clever man. You do not watch my videos to learn how to play the game, because more often than not, I don't play the game the correct way, because as being a mostly solitaire player, it is often very difficult for a solitaire player to get the rules right, because you don't have anybody to bounce information off of, and there's no videos on YouTube for Open Fire. So you don't I at least I hope you people don't watch my videos to learn how to play. Basically, what you watch, what I try to do, what my goal is I'm just having fun playing the game. I just want to play the game, want to have fun. I want to show people how the general mechanics of the games run, and then allow people to make up their own mind if this is something that they want to go out and pursue on their own. So no, these are not how to plays. Yes, I play, but I usually do it incorrectly, but I tend to get the main gist of the system down. So, and I heard that, I think it was Chief over at Bonding with Board Games who mentioned that, and kind of summed it up for me and my play style that way. So I wanted to make sure I articulated it and got that out there. That now if you get good information out of my games, that's cool, because there's been times in the past when I've done like Upfront or Patton's Best. People contact me saying, "I had no idea that's the way the rule mechanics worked," and I'm going, "Really? You're learning the rules from me?" Because I'm not that smart of a man, and if you're learning the rules from me, it's like, was the rule book really that poorly written? And yes, some of the older rule systems, the old rule sets from Avalon Hill, were that poorly written. So, anyways, like I said, this isn't a how to play. This is me just playing the game, and if I'm hoping I'm getting most of it right, and hopefully this will prompt other people to break out their copies and play it, or get some clarifications on things that they never really knew, and just So we'll just leave it at that. Also, this is the first time I'm recording with my camera. It's pretty bad when recording with my phone. Pretty bad when my phone actually takes better pictures and does better video than my camera does. This thing records in 1920. I think the last camera that I have been recording with was only like 1080. So hopefully we'll see a huge increase in quality. Plus, I've got really good zoom control with this. Yay! So hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit easier zoomed in close-up shots. And I got like 4 times bigger, maybe even a 5 times bigger screen than I have my camera, so I can actually see what I'm pointing at with the camera, and I can figure out exactly what I'm looking at and what I'm recording. I'm hoping the sound quality comes through. I'm not sure how the sound quality is. I've done several test runs with it, um, and the sound kind of, I don't know if it was a little bit too soft, or it's just I had my headset down or my speakers down, or I don't know. I'm hoping the sound on this comes through. All right. So, anyways, oh, and plus, now that I've figured this out, I think I've also figured out how I can start streaming. So, I'm probably going to do a test stream here. My biggest concern is with the stream is I want to be able to see the chat, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see the chat. Maybe it pops up on the screen. I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't ever done this with the phone before. This is all new territory for the original Grognard. And you know, new things are scary. Things are scary and bad. New things. Don't like new things. But got to go out and try it anyways. All right. So jumping into open fire. Yeah, oh, yeah, the other thing about this, the nice thing about this camera, this goes to about 37 minutes. I got the recording, I got the storage space for about 37 minutes of recording time, which is better than the 25 minutes I had on the last phone. So, yes, we won't be taking as many breaks with this phone. Hopefully not, anyways. So, all right, into some differences between open fire and ambush, and I kind of went over this in the last video, my initial thoughts video. In ambush, you went through whenever you were moving, and let's go ahead and kind of zoom in. Hey, look at that. I can zoom, and it's almost kind of clear. Whenever you moved, during this game runs like ambush. You have operations phase and you have action phases. Operations phase is basically you getting to move your units around, doing whatever you want with them. In the original ambush, you moved one guy at a time. And I don't even think it was a stack. I think it actually was just physically one counter at a time. Whatever hex they moved into, you check the paragraph, see if anything happened, move on from there. In this game, in open fire, it's a little bit different. You can actually do an entire stack during operations. And again, it's still just one hex at a time. So, and in this scenario, all your tanks can enter in one of three hexes, and I'm having them enter here, right here along this road. So during the operations phase, when you start out, when there's no Germans on the board, that's when it's operations phases. When there are Germans on the board, then it goes into actions. So for my first move, and we're just going to go ahead and do this right now. First operations, I can bring the entire stack on, and so we move him right there, and that will be the first operations phase. I don't have to check each hex individually, thank fucking God, because that did tend to run things a little bit long when you checked each friggin' paragraph or each friggin' hex with the mission cartridge sleeve. Don't have to do that anymore. Now we've got these objective markers that are all over the board. Now, the only time you have to check the mission sleeve, here's our friendly handy-dandy mission sleeve, is whenever you get within the line of sight of an objective marker. Now, there's also two little caveats to that. You have to be within 6 hexes of the, or not the objective marker, the event marker. You have to be within 6 hexes of the event marker. You have to have a clear line of sight to it, and if you don't have to have a clear line of sight to it, it's 2 hexes. There is the possibility that if you're 2 hexes away, but still out of line of sight, and it's a German activation, there is a chance that they will activate and be out of line of sight when you activate. So there you go. Then, of course, if there isn't a German activation, and it runs a little bit different than ambush, we'll get into that. Then you go into action rounds, and that's when you will go ahead and come down here to the action table. Now, I don't like how this action table is laid out. It's laid out horizontally. In ambush, it was laid out vertically, and initiative would go from highest to lowest. Here, this is from left to right. I get it. I understand why they did it horizontally, because you've got this big display sheet that is completely laid out horizontally. That's got all the information you need. I mean, crew reduction effective charts, movement points, to hit charts, AP, fire damage, fire modifications, accident tables. I mean, they laid it all out horizontally. So I get why they did the action point table, action record track horizontally. I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not used to it. I prefer it vertically. What are you going to do? It's the way the game runs. And of course, if you remember from the original ambush, you've got the action number track to keep track of the German action number. That's on there again. Again, it was vertically last time. Now it was vertically last time. Now horizontal. Again, it's just kind of a. I'll get used to it. All right, line of sight in this game is also real easy. All these different colored contours or different colored hexes are different elevations. It's all considered smooth slope. So if you're right here, you can see down to that event. I mean, it's just a smooth slope. Don't have to worry about blind hexes. The only time you have to worry about line of sight blocking is if there's actually something physically in your way between the two. But I don't think we're going to run into that. Well, I mean, say, for example, if I was right here, then line of sight would be blocked between here and here. And because we've got those woods there, and of course, villages block line of sight. And if, say, I was right here, line of sight would be blocked over here because there's hills in the way. But if I'm right here, I can see all the way down to there. If I'm here, I can see there. So it's a very, very simplistic line of sight slope. But it's not like friggin' Squad Leader where you just have to be a friggin' hill line of sight in ASL has always confused me, and I think I've got a good grasp on it, and I've been playing ASL for 30 some odd years, and only within the last 2 years I've actually thought I've got a good grasp on line of sight. Don't have to worry about that in this game. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's jump into gameplay. Let's go ahead and see how bad I'm going to muck this up, because, as I said, the first time playing it. So, as we are in operations phase, because there's no Germans yet, so we're going to go ahead. And we're going to go ahead and, well, let's actually take a look at the map and what I want to do with it. So we've got 4 objectives or 4 events right here. We've got a whole bunch of events way up there, and then some more events kind of through this valley leading up to this village, and a couple more events up there. 2 ways I can approach this. Well, 3 ways, but I'm not going to do the third way. First way I can approach it is I can take my armor and push them north along the bridge, and then sweep up that way, and then sweep back down, come down through this little culvert here, and then into this open field. The second way I can approach is going the exact opposite, go the south way, kind of along this ridge line, clear out everything up here, and then sweep north. Or the third way is break up into 2 different advances. I've got 4 tanks. 2 tanks go one way, 2 tanks go... I'm not going to do that. Right? Just not going to do that. We're going to keep all of our tanks together. And the stacking limit, the hexes are 250 meters, and so the stacking limit is 4 tanks. So I can have 4 tanks in a hex. So I'm going to keep all 4 of my tanks together. I'm not going to do like I usually do and break them up and end up being an idiot about, oh, I just noticed I can adjust light. Ooh, I can adjust light. That looks a little bit better. Hopefully that's a little bit clearer. I won't be able to know until post-production. So let's go ahead and try to get a good zoom. All right, so we're in operations phase. We did our first move, and so I am going to go up the north route. I'm going to clear out these 2 events here, and then head up that road, up that way, and then hook around those woods. That's the plan, anyways. Anybody who's been in the military knows no plan survives first shots being fired or first contact. All right, so we're gonna no line of sight. I'm not within 6 hexes, not within line of sight of any events. Go on to the next operations phase. So I'm just going to go ahead and move my tanks there. That ops phase is done. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still not within within 6 hexes of anything. So operations are a lot faster, as you can kind of tell, because I don't have to go and check each hex as was in ambush. Just when I get within 6 hexes and within line of sight of something. I think we're going to go ahead and move here next for my third operations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I am within 6 hexes of there, but my line of sight, I'm fairly certain, is blocked. And I'm an idiot and didn't grab one of my rulers, but that's okay. We improvise. Yeah, it cuts right through that village hex. So don't have line of sight on anything yet. Continue on. Now the question is, how close do I want to get before I try activating it? You know what? Let's just move here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're right down the up. Are we still? We still might be out of line of sight. There. Yep, still. Yeah, still clips that build those villages. So that's going to be that ops phase. And let's go ahead and move here. Now that is definitely going to be within clear line of sight. And I'm within 6 hexes. So we have to check the cartridge sleeve. It is event number 20. So we look for event number 20, which is down here. And this is mission 1, condition 1. Say mission 1, condition 1. Because, well, we're in the first mission and the conditions haven't changed yet. All right, so we got RE, which is random encounter, and 943. Why does it have the red numbers in there? Well, let's go for the random encounter first. Actually, I better check that. Because if it is a random, if it is a paragraph, or if it's a check with random event checks. Okay. Unique occurrences are triggered at random during play by making random event checks. When a paragraph check yields a random event check, roll 2 dice and check the mission card again by aligning the current mission number, condition number, yada, yada, yada. Okay. I think I see. Check by aligning the current mission and the condition number with the total number of dice on the row of numbers beneath the slot. Okay. So if I read that right, we do 2d10, because this game runs on 2d10s. Add them together. I believe it's add them together for the... Let's just make sure on that. Like I said, I should have been more prepared. Let's see. Roll 2 dice. Total of the dice roll. All right, so we got, it's a 7 and a 1. Oh, for percentile purposes, black is going to be the 10s, white is going to be the 1s, but since we're adding these together, it's a 7 plus 1, which is an 8. So now we are going to take mission 1, condition 1, because that's what it is, and look under the 8 column for the random event, and it says none. All right, so we got no random event. I don't know if that's focusing in real well. It doesn't look like it is. Oh, well. So it's no random event. So this chit is pulled away because there was going to be a random, it was supposed to be a random event, but there is no random event because we didn't roll for one, and we continue with operations. So now we're just going to go ahead and continue with operations. I'll move there. Not in line of sight anything. I'll move there. Not in line of sight of anything. Move there. Not in line of sight of anything. As you can see, this is going much quicker than ambush did. Move there. Not okay. Now we're not within 2 hexes yet, so I don't have to worry about that. And still, we're not 1, 2, 3, 4. We are within 6 hexes, but we're not within line of sight, so we don't check for that one. Move there. All right. Now we moved there. Now we're within line of sight. So we have, and plus, even if we weren't in with line of sight, we're within 2 hexes of it. So we have event. What is that? That is event 19. So we go to the mission chart. And since it's mission 1, condition 1, that's the column we're going to be looking for. And we're looking for row 19, which is right there, which is a paragraph. So we have a paragraph check of 310. Grab out our handy dandy paragraph book. And just because I don't want to surprise anybody with anything that could possibly be coming up and spoilers and all that stuff, I'm not going to show off the book. I'm just going to read it. Okay, the 310. There's below. Yeah, it was 310. Yeah, there's. Let's make sure just in case, because we know how my memory is. Mission 1, 19310. Yeah. All right. There's black smoke billowing from Hicks 3818. So 3818. I should probably get something, a marker. So we move through the village. And we're seeing smoke at 3818. So 3818 that's right there. So we got billowing smoke from that hex right there. Okay, if you wish to investigate, move to hex 3818. If you do not wish to investigate, ignore this paragraph. Well, you know what? I think we're going to investigate. We are going to check that out. Because, hey, billowing smoke could be something good, could be something bad. I'm guessing somebody got blued up or there's a fire there. But we need to move to, okay, when we move to that hex, C099. Probably jot that down just to keep it as a note. 099. My piece of scratch paper and my chicken scratch that I'm not gonna bother you with because my chicken scratch can't be read. All right, so we still have no. So that was the event. We checked it. No Germans activated. We're not in action phase. Continuing operations. We're gonna go ahead and move here. Now again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're within 6 hexes, but we're not in line of sight, so there's no event check. So I'm gonna go ahead and move here because we're still in operations. Again, nothing in line of sight. Now, normally with smooth slopes, I would have to start worrying about this event up here, but there's going to be the line of sight blocked by this different elevation change because the dark green is level 3, brown is level 2, and ground is yellow or tan is level 1 or ground level. So this will block line of sight because the green is higher than the brown. So that's basically the line of sight with hills. That's what you have to worry about. All right, so the next one, and what is that? That hex is. That's just rough. So, all right, so we're going to drive into here with our next operations phase. All right, and since we drove into there, we check paragraph 099. As your vehicle pushes its way through some bushes, your commander sees the broken spine of a downed P-38 on fire. There's no way that a pilot could have lived through that. Oh, there's a wrecked P-38 Lightning there. We'll go ahead and radio that into command just to let command know that there's a wrecked plane here and send out burial detail, recover dog tags and such. Okay, no event occurred. No Germans were activated. We're still in operation, so I'm going to go move here. Again, it's 1 hex. You're moving by 1 hex at a time. So honestly, if you wanted to, you could probably speed it up a little bit. It's like, well, I'm not going to trip an event until I move to here so I can do there. Yeah, that's your own gameplay. You can do whatever you want. I'm not. I'm going to just procedurally do it. And I'm going to keep that smoke there. Let's see how well zoomed in we can get and keep some type of clarity. That's 4 times zoom. That's not too bad with the clarity. But, all right, so then we're going to go ahead and move to there. No event checks. Here. No event checks. Here, no event checks. Now, if I moved up to here, just to clarify a little bit more with line of sight, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be within 6 hexes, but the woods are blocking because the woods are considered equal height. Well, let's check just to make sure. Because I don't want to get ASL rules confused. Line of sight. Tracing the line of sight. Hexes at same elevation, blocking terrain. Ridge hexes. Oh, yeah, ridge hexes are the only thing that is hard. You do have to worry about. You cannot trace a smooth line of sight from the hills along a ridge hex side. So, but that doesn't look like we're going to be running into too much of an issue. Okay, Woodstown. Okay, if both sighting hexes are all on the same elevation, okay, we're not. If the sighting hexes are a different elevation, the LOS is blocked. If it enters a hex adjacent to either the sighting target hexes contained. Okay, so basically, if I move into here, or actually, yeah, if I move into here, so let's just go ahead and we'll go ahead and do that. What type of hex is that? That's a rough hex. Technically within 6 hexes of that event, but this woods here is adjacent to the event. So that will actually block line of sight. If the woods hex was actually here, and that hex was clear, and that hex was clear, then, whoops, my big fat finger's in the way. Let's do this from the other side. Since this woods here is here, that's going to block the adjacent event that I'm trying to look into. So actually, that's That's both woods there, but not important for our purposes. So since I'm on a higher elevation, normally if that woods was not there, I would be able to see that. If the woods was here, I'd still be able to see it. But since it's adjacent to the hex I'm trying to spot, then that does block line of sight. So I'm not going to be able to spot that yet. So the plan was I was going to keep moving along. So let's just keep moving on. Move there. Yeah, I'm within 6 hexes, but I can't see it. So no line of sight for that check. And honestly, yeah, let's just speed this up a little bit. Where would be the earliest I could spot that hex right there? Actually, it's going to be right there, because anything else is going to be crossing the hex, and the hex is considered completely filled. So just to speed it up a little bit. Yes, that's my fast forward tank sounds. We're going to go ahead and move right there. We're within 2 hexes, within line of sight. So this is event 16. Event 16. I'm going to have to remember that where the actual camera is. I'm used to my old camera where it's right out the center. As everybody knows with cell phones, the cameras are set to a side. So I'm going to have to just learn that. I'm trying to bring my hand right to what I think is the center of the camera, which is not. So anyways, yeah, I know. The perils and foibles of me playing a new game. All right, so we're still at mission 1, condition 1, and it's event 16. So we got 486. So that's the paragraph we checked. See, mission 1, condition 1. It's event 16. Check paragraph 486. So 486. What does 486 have for us today? 486. Your platoon meets a French farmer driving his hay cart south on this road. If in round, C290. If in operations, C180. Well, I am in operations because there are no Germans on the board, so we're not in activation rounds. So we are in operations, C180. He's going to give us information. Parlez-vous français? Which he'd probably say to me, non, do not speak French. But I'm sure one of my guys speaks French. We're just going to say it does anyways. So, and I completely forgot the paragraph number. 180. He stops and tells you that his name is Pierre, and he has seen German vehicles in the vicinity of Hex 2510. He does not know how many or what type. He wishes you a bonjour and moves off the road for you. Well, merci, Monsieur Pierre. I was going to call him Mademoiselle because that was the first French honorific that popped into my mind. Hex 2510. All right, so let's go ahead and grab another counter to mark where possible German nasties are. In the vicinity of Hex 2510. So 2510 would be 23, 25. Okay, so event 13. So there are probably some German tanks. According to the Frenchman, Pierre, there are some French tanks in the vicinity of that event marker. Okay, that does kind of change things a little bit. So now, do we want to hook around? What I need to get now, since it's so I'm not reaching, is I need to get a laser pointer. I need to get a pointer so I can point on the map, because that's way out there. I'm reaching way over the table. If I want to hook around the woods or drive through the woods and surprise the Germans, since they're sitting right there. Okay, now that's rough. Does rough block line of sight? Let me see if rough blocks line of sight, because that will probably have an effect on my decision. That's blocking terrain. Rough hexes. Okay, yeah, if both sighting hexes are at the same elevation, intervening woods, towns, and rough hexes always block line of sight. So what I could do is I could come back, kind of move through here. Now, I won't have to worry about tripping this because the woods is going to be blocking line of sight, and since I'm at a lower elevation and it's adjacent to it. I could sneak up to right there and catch the Germans by surprise. But if I do that, I'll have to check for that event. I'll have to check for that event. So that's 2 events. If I go around the north So right about here, I can see what that event is first. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think I'll hook around to the north, around the woods. So let's go ahead. I'm standing up now, reaching way over my table. So yeah, let's just go ahead. We'll go here. We'll go here. We'll go here. Then we'll go here, 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 here. Because we're still in operations. We haven't switched to action rounds yet because there are no Germans on the field. And if I go here, then that'll be a line of sight check. I don't have to worry about 11 yet because I'm still too far away. But if I move here, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So now normally he's at a higher elevation. And he could see me at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, he could have seen me here. Okay, yeah, I need to refigure that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The way line of sight works, since he's a higher elevation, the woods would block line of sight there, but wouldn't there. So if I move there, then we'll check for. Okay, so we'll retcon that a little bit, and we'll move the vehicles like that, and we'll check for the event, that event there, because we are able to spot that. What event number is that? That is number 10. All right, so again, we're mission 1, condition 1. So go to 10 column, and it's a random event. So we roll 2d6. Or not 2d6, 2d10 for the random event. Add them together. And we've got a 5. So we go to mission 1, condition 1, go to the 5 column for the random event, and read, what is that? 693. So that's the event that we look at in the paragraph book. 693. Okay, you hear the low rumble in the distance. Is it thunder or the sound of German artillery? Yeah, I'm guessing it's artillery. I'm guessing it's German artillery. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move here. And let's see, how far are we from that one? 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we don't have to get, as long as we don't get too close to that, we don't have to worry about tripping 2 different events at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to rumble right into this woods here. That's going to trigger event check on that one, and we already been told that we think there are German panzers or German vehicles there because the Frenchman told us about it. But we're hitting the 33-minute mark, so I am going to go ahead. You're not going to notice anything, but I'm going to have to pause this, and then I just realized I'm going to have to download all this to my computer, because the good thing about my old camera is it had a huge hard drive on it, but it would fry. It would cut off after about 25 minutes. This one I can go 37 minutes, but that's because of hard drive space. So I'm going to have to go download this and then come back to the table. Like I said, y'all ain't going to notice anything. I'm the one that's going to be gone forever. So I'll be back in 3, 2, 1. Okay, it was a little bit longer than 3, 2, 1. Still trying to figure this camera out. And oh my God, this thing is a power whore. I was what, 35 minutes of recording, and I blew through 15% of my battery. Well, at least it's almost a halfway relatively new battery, so I don't have to worry too much about it. Anyways, perils in my own problems. All right, so we went ahead. I was going to zoom in a little bit. That's so cool. I can zoom in with this. It was so much easier. All right. Coming up through those woods, triggered a event check. So let's see, what is that? That is event 13. And like I said, we're pretty sure that the Germans are there. So let's actually... So mission 1, condition 1, 13. Okay, so we got a sighting check, S1 404. Now, those of you who remember from ambush, whenever you have an S check, you can only have a certain sighting. That's what the S stands for. Certain sighting events once per game. So we're doing S1, which is 404. And what we need to do is we need to go to our company chart or our platoon chart. And so since we just did sighting 1, we go ahead and mark off sighting 1 as it can only happen once per game. So it's sighting 1, we mark that off, and we go to paragraph 404. Actually, technically, I'm only supposed to mark it off if the event actually fires. We'll see if the event fires or not. All right, 404. Oh, dear God. Event 404, S1, activate G1, GE2, GE3 with GE2 and 3 closed, all facing southeast, roll for advantage, commence rounds, go to condition 2. Oh my God, we just stepped into the shit. All right, activate GE1, 2, and 3. So what they're referring to there is the actual German cards, the actual unit cards. And they're all labeled, as you can see, GE55, GE42. The GE stands for German. I know I probably don't need to point that out, but all right, so US, 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 bunch of US. I should probably put the US at the bottom because I'm not going to be using the US anytime soon. All right, put the US at the bottom. German 1, German 2, and German 3. All right, so actually was thinking it was probably going to be 3 tanks. It's not as bad as we thought it was. All right, so what do we have? Let's go ahead and set this up. So German 1, G1, looks like it's a Panzer 4. So I need to find, and it's letter M. So I need to go through all my counters. Fortunately, there's not that many of them. Find counter M. So there that is. There's that vehicle. And we also need to find his corresponding initiative number, because that will determine where it goes on the action rounds. Now, initiative is going to be 3, so I need to find the M3 counter. Now, this is going to be a little bit more difficult, because there are a bunch of counters in here with different initiative numbers on it. All right, well, let's just go ahead and pour it out. Now, see, I could not prepare this beforehand because I have no idea what the events are, so I have no way of knowing which initiative numbers I need to draw out, or even what Germans to draw out. All right, so there's M3. So what we're going to do is he goes into initiative 3. So it's either, advantage or disadvantage. We'll get into that. But M3, so that's to mark for that German tank. What's the next one we got? GE2, which is a Y infantry, which is a squad, which is going to be that one right there. And he is initiative, since he's at full strength. His initiative is 2, so we need to find the Y2 marker. The Y2K. No, not the Y2K, just the Y2 marker. All right, so there's Y2. So Y2, he's initiative. So he'll go under initiative 2 when we get into rounds. Let's go ahead and set him to the side. And looks like SPW 251, looks like a half track. So we're looking for unit S. Let's see if we can find unit S. X. There it is, unit S. And his initiative is actually 4. He's actually got a pretty high initiative for a half track. So I need to find S4. So it'll match up nice and neat. Where's S4? Again, apologies for this, but like I said, I can't prepare this because I don't know what I'm going to be facing with the initiative numbers. All right. So there's the counters. throw these back in the baggie real quick. And with initiative 4, he'll go on the initiative track of 4. So these we're just going to set off to the side. And let's see, they are going to be activating, and they were all facing southeast, if I remember correctly. If I can find the paragraph number again. Which is why I should write this down. Event 13. Yeah, 404. All right, 404. Roll for advantage. Okay, all face southeast. Roll for advantage. Commence rounds. Go to condition 2. All right. So we're going to condition 2, which means we now look under the mission 1 condition 2 marker. So we were in 1, we're now in 2. I'll just mark that on my book like that. Activation, so we're at condition 2. And they are all facing southeast. So let's see where they go, where the mechanics go to. There we go. The infantry, it really doesn't matter because the infantry has 360 degree, but the tank is going to be facing southeast. The half track is going to be facing southeast, and the infantry is up. Is that south? Yeah, that's no, that's southwest. That's an odd. Let's see. Let's just make sure that north is north for this scenario. So check the scenario real quick. Let's see. That's a victory. Oh, north is down. So this way is north, so that means north, south, east. So they're actually pointing that direction. And then the infantry is in there. Now there is a counter that I've got. I should probably find that and throw that on the board. To denote which way is north. I'm not going to worry about it at this point. No, there it is. So we got this little counter right here. Not that it can focus in. There we go. So north is facing down. So I'll just put that in the corner like that to remind me that this way is north. And then that southeast is going to be that way. So they're pointing that direction. And it also said that the 2 vehicles, I believe, were open, which means they were not buttoned up. They've got their hatches open. Let's check that just to make sure. All face southeast. No, G2 and 3 are closed. Oh, right, so they closed their hatches. I'm not going to put the markers, the turret hatches, or the turret facing on them until I actually get to, unless they're open, because I don't want to clutter up the board with too many counters. There are open hatch and closed hatch markers. Unless they turn the turret or they open the hatch, I'm not going to put the counter on for. Okay, so now we roll for advantage. Now, rolling for advantage is just like it is in ambush. You just roll 2d6, and basically it goes off of high dice, if I remember correctly. Check it just to make sure. So we want to do things procedurally correct. Fire combat. Accident checks. Let's see. German activation during rounds. Awareness, panic, command and control. Activating, there we go. Command, awareness. Activation, performing actions during rounds. German action number. Movement. Oh, come on. Sometimes these rule books. Activation checks. Nope, that's what we were doing. We were checking for advantage. Would help if I actually have the correct nomenclature. And this is the painful thing about playing a game for the first time. You roll for advantage. Like I said, I'm fairly certain I know what it is. I just want to confirm just to make sure. Determination, awareness. Dead air, dead air, dead air. Okay, well, maybe checking advantages in a different part of the rules. Line of sight, fire combat, close assault. Just action sequence, so 12. Okay. Initiative check. What the hell? Random event checks, paragraph determination, sightings, conditions. Oh, this is annoying. All right, pause it real quick while I figure this out. I'll be right back. Okay, it was exactly like what I thought it was. Roll 2d6. We're going to go with black is German, white is the Americans. Whoever rolls highest has the advantage. That is an 3 and is 0. 0 is actually rolled as a 0. Let's check that real quick. I know, I suck. 10-sided dice. 0 is referred to as a 0. All right, so that gives us our activation numbers. 0 and 3. So the Germans or the Americans are going to have advantage. What does that mean? So you go down here to our action table. You take your first, or you're going to take each of them. Let's take the first one, the A5. That's my first tank, A5. And I look for the number that was rolled, which was a 3. And that is going to be... It's going to be in the 2 turns, and since he won advantage, because I rolled highest on the initiative, it's going to go in the 2-turn advantage marker. And we determined that's the 2 turns because the initiative dice was a 3, which is what we rolled right there. All right, so we go to the next one, which is B under the 4 initiative track. We look for 3, which is going to be under 1 turn. Now we've got a German under initiative 4. Now for the Germans, we rolled a 0, so we have to look at where the 0 is, which is going to be 2 turns disadvantage. So what we've rolled so far is out of that 3 and that 0, initiative 5, US is going to have 2 turns advantaged. Initiative B, Americans, is going, or the initiative 4 is going to have 1 turn advantage. German S is going to have 2 turns disadvantage. I mean, and the way it works is advantaged, disadvantaged. Okay, 2 turns advantage, 2 turn disadvantage, 1 turn disadvantage, 1 turn disadvantage, and just basically goes down like that. All right, so initiative 3, D is going to be the USD. We rolled a 3, so it's going to be 1 turn advantage. Oh, we should probably mark the action number track as 0 because that's what we rolled for the Germans. That comes in play in the future. All right, M is going to be 3. Oh, that's M3, which is the German disadvantage. So he's going to have 1 turn disadvantaged. Now initiative 2, C2, where is? All right, C2, the 3. All right, so we rolled 3. So it's going to put in 2 turn advantage. However, the block is in red. Let's see if you can actually see that. It's in red, so that means there's a chance of possibility of panicking. And the German, Y, which is 2 turn, is going to be a 0. So he is going to, I believe, automatically panic. Yes, there is no command control checks for the Germans. They only panic if they roll a 1 or a 0. Check that real quick. There's something special for the Germans, how the Germans panic. It doesn't happen very often, so that's why I'm not familiar with it, because it would run real similar to how ambush ran. So, panic, okay. Okay, during an action sequence, a German or U.S. unit is subject to panic if its initiative dice roll is printed in the panic space in its column of the AR track. For example, a unit with initiative 1. Okay, so yeah, they do it just like the Germans. They do it just like the Americans as well. So they rolled a 0, which unfortunately is a panic for them. So they're automatically going to panic. There's no question about that. It's just to make sure, double check that. For additional effects of panic, see 14.2. 14.2. Okay. Panic. Subject to the following restrictions. If rounds are in progress, unit loses any remaining turns in the current round. So it panics, so it is going to go down to complete, because that's what this row here is for, is basically for everybody who's completed their actions. But since Y panicked, they're automatically going to lose everything, so they're not going to give any. They're not going to get into initiative. If the unit is a non-tank vehicle, an immediate accident check must be performed. Okay, it's not a non-tank vehicle, it's just infantry. Y is infantry. Yes, Y is the infantry squad. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It doesn't even move to the complete space. It moves into the panic space, which is red. Panic unit can perform no actions for the duration of the round. Prepared anti-tank gun treats a panic result as a suppression. If in operations, a panic result has no effect, a panic commander has no command points, cannot give turns to other units or make any other units aware. Okay, so that's how the Germans figure out panic. Now, we do have one unit, the American C has got a initiative 2, and we did roll panic for him. So we have to check to see if he is going to panic. And for Americans, it's a little bit different. Where is it? I was just looking at panic. Commanders. Okay. The commander has a command radius consisting of the hex he occupies plus all hexes he can see. So I basically have 2 commanders in my tank force. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. And just take a look at what vehicles I've got. I've got an M4A3, and he's got a commander in it. I've got another M4A3, he's got a commander in it. And then I've got 2 M10s, C and D, or 10s, but they don't have commanders. So the unit that is panicking is definitely within line of sight of one of my commanders because, well, they're in the same hex. So they're in line of sight. A commander exerts his initiative rating into all these hexes as long as he is active. And his initiative rating is added to the initiative ratings of U.S. units occupying those hexes. Okay? A commander with initiative rating of 4 exerts 4 initiative points into each hex he can see. Any U.S. units, including another commander in any of these hexes, can use those 4 initiative points towards keeping themselves in command. The effects of command radius are reciprocal. That is, a commander can use his initiative rating of units within his command radius to contribute towards himself to keep himself in command. All right, so basically, what does that mean? My M10, labeled C, the C unit, Charlie, tank, has initiative 2. He panicked. He's got initiative 2. I need to pull command points from commanders that are within line of sight to him to be able to keep him into initiative. So A and B are both my 2 command tanks. They both exert command presence. So I basically have 9 points. So out of those 9, C will take 2 of those points to stay in command. So I basically have 7 command points left over that I could use. Now, if you remember in the original ambush, you had to be within 3 hexes or 2 hexes, 2 or 3 hexes, and it was something similar where you compared it to the commander's initiative. But in that game, it was real easy. There were a lot more panic chances on the initiative tracking. You guys were panicking all the time. This game, it's a lot harder for U.S. tanks to panic, but obviously not for the German vehicles to panic. So for all intents and purposes, and what we figured out, I need to have 2 initiative points of commanders in my line of sight. I've got 9. Bam, he doesn't panic. He's going to conduct actions just as he normally would anyways. And you know what? since we're running about 45, 50 minutes here, I think this is probably a good point to stop. We've seen how the operation phase goes. We've seen how to activate events, how to do random events, and what happens when we get into an activation round. And since we are now in action tracks, we're going to come back, and the next time we play, we're actually going to start shooting at each other. That's what I got. Let's see, do I actually want to put this into selfie mode so you can... No, I don't think we want to do that. That's all we got today, boys and girls. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. I'll see everybody next time. See ya!